All of the content contained in this webcast is for informational purposes only. The investments and strategies contained in this webcast may not be suitable for you. Please consult your own independent financial advisor before making any investment or trading decisions. Welcome back, traders. Second portion of our show. Looks like the numbers that are coming out at 8:30 don't mean anything, Dennis.
Pretty quiet. We got a couple points pop on the GDP number, and we're right back to where we were. We're up 1.75 points on the futures.
Okay, what do we got for market movers?
Goldman Sachs was moving after hours there last night, just down a bit. Notice that they got a Wells notice from the SEC. Involving a case involving the disclosures in its sales material for subprime mortgage-backed bonds. So basically, they're just investigating Goldman Sachs a little bit farther, still tying back into the whole subprime thing. So that's got investors just a little bit nervous here. The stock actually was trading down a little more earlier, trading down to the 115s. It's now trading at 116.69, so it's bounced back a bit, just trading slightly down here.
Okay, yeah, we hit 115.65 in the pre-market, Dennis. I've been looking at this stock for quite a while here, and even every time I think that it's going to break out over this, 118 level, it just gets turned back. Now, I see yesterday it did get up to 118.66. It's peeled. I would get super bullish if you got a couple closes above this thing, above 118, but it just can't seem to do that. It just seems like it's just holding on here despite the strong market. I'd use 115.11 to 115.50 as minor support, but the major support comes in at 113.94, which was Monday's low.
Stock that had a wild ride last night, First Solar, FSLR. They basically came out, missed their number, lowered guidance, did about everything fundamentally bad you can say about a quarter. Stock had closed at 36.40. It reopened at 4:45 Eastern, 45 minutes after the close there, and it opened back at $31. So it was absolutely crushed. And then what did they do? The Joel just goes into rally mode. Goes all the way up, actually back to 36.40, believe it or not, in the after hours. Nibbles positive after all that bad news. 5 minutes later, after it reopens at 31, climbs all the way to 36.40, and then starts to roll over again and starts settling in the 35s. Now this morning it's 34.45. So it's been a wild ride. So you see this thing down $2. It's not nearly as bad as it was. And with considering all the fundamental bad stuff they said, you almost wonder how that thing could ever go positive after saying that in the after hours. Just craziness. But this thing, everybody's short this stock. It's one of those that everybody's short. Everybody knows their earnings is probably going to be bad. So some of it was probably baked in. It was really bad, though, to lower the guidance as well. So it makes you wonder if there's a potential for a short squeeze in something like this, Joel.
Yeah, we've sure seen that before. Well, I'd keep a real close eye on that 36.62, Dennis. That obviously is the area that it popped up to in the pre-market, just above the close, as you noted. So that would be major, major resistance. For some, to see that $31 level again, it looks like either some short seller or someone trying to get along is here at 33.50, and we've been on a slow, steady climb since then, kind of topping out at 34.50. So I'll wait to see how this thing shakes out between those two levels, but I like the 33.50 as support.
Liz Claiborne, small little stock, LIZ, or LIZ as you call it all in the States. I have Canadian backing, so I still use that Z thing. Joel makes fun of it for me with my Canadian background. But LIZ, $10.39 is where it closed. It's trading 10.45 right now, but believe it or not, early on this morning, this thing nibbled up to a couple trades, went off at $12. That was just a little bit overdone. I'm looking at the chart here. 10.50 is where it topped out here a couple of days ago. Looks like that might try to put a lid on it again. So keep an eye on that 10.50 level. If it breaks out above there, though, then you might talk about that 11, Joel.
Yeah, that's a good note there, Dennis. 10.45 is currently where it's trading. That fits in nicely with yesterday's range. We had a 10.45 high, so Maybe similar to those Domino's pizza thing that yesterday where, it opened up. Well, it seemed like it was high, but it opened up right at resistance, but then held that level, was off to the races. I could see Liz Claiborne, if it hold the 1050 level, perhaps giving a push towards 11. And I don't think we're going to see that $12 that we saw in the pre-market.
Payless Shoe Source, at least I always still call it Payless Shoe Source. It's Collective Brands is their name, PSS. Reported earnings this morning as well. There's no trades here yet, but the stock's been bid up all morning. It's bid 17.88 now, so it's bid up actually 50 cents from the 17.38 close. So it's looking like it might test this $18 area, but if you look a little bit further back, we got all these tops in this 1850 area, 1842, 1853. So I'm going to call that whole area 1850. That could very well come into play today with the stock being stronger. So I'd expect some initial resistance, possibly at 18, because we did have a couple tops there in mid-February, and then in early February we were topping off at 1850. So that's the two resistance numbers I'm going to give you. What do you think, Joel?
Yeah, Dennis, that's pretty. That chart spells that out pretty much. That $18 level, which we're currently trading above, would be a good swing number. If in fact we can hold that, you do have all those tops up in the 1850 to 1860 area, so that should be major resistance. Coming back on the downside, you got a ways to go to get down to that yesterday's high at 1756. Call that area good support. The lowest that we've traded after we've made the high in the pre-market at 1820 is 1775. So that will be our first support level in PSS.
Under Armour, which is symbol UA. Kramer was talking about it last night. He had an Under Armour shirt on. He was really giving it props, he was calling it a tech company because they have these shirts or something that will mold your body and figure out and change to you. So he was really giving UA props, and the stock is moving up on that. It took off last night when he started featuring it, and it's continued here this morning. 89.20 is where it's trading at right now after closing at 87.72. So stock is making a new 52-week high here today after making a new 52-week high yesterday at 88.90. So basically the stock just keeps moving higher. I'd expect $90 to be a big psychological number, but other than that, I don't really have that much on this. It's moving higher, Joel.
Yeah, 88.90 would be the swing number I'd use. That was yesterday's high, the old-time high. So that should be minor support. Spotty trades in this thing, but it seems like after the close, it kind of popped up. Maybe someone had a little inclination that he was going to be talking about it. But I would use 88 as support in this thing if you're looking to put a stop in or something, if you don't want to get back these gains that it has.
Dycom Industries, which is symbol DY. Trading, actually no trades here yet, but it's offered down significantly. 22.07 is where it closed. It's offered at $21. There doesn't seem to be any takers. This 21 offer has been sitting there for a while, so it looks like it may actually open, possibly even under. The best bid's down at $20.20. It's a stock that had been breaking down actually over the last couple of days. Now is going down. Looks like going to be a significant move down here today. There is some support here in this 21 area. So, but if it's to take that out, then I'd talk about the 20. I'd stick with the whole numbers maybe on this one. What do you think on DY, Joel?
What do they do, Dennis?
He always throws me under the bus on this. What does Dycom Industries do? It's a telecommunications company. I don't know much more than that, though. So.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it has been breaking down, Dennis. A lot of support, though, here in the 21 area. 2090 is CLO. There's also a dip below that at 2061. So I would keep an eye on this 2061 level. Below that, you had a low at 2038. Trades, it's hard to identify the pre-market ranges, but with that kind of bad news and being offered at 21, if in fact that holds, I'm sure you'll see some sellers at yesterday 9.
One more for you here before we close up the show. SodaStream, SODA, has been on a wild run today, and I mean it's been wild, Joel. They reported earnings here this morning. The stock was trading under $40 just a little while ago. It's now trading 41.35. So it's really all over the place. I got the pre-market high as high as 51.40. I got the pre-market low as 39.56. This thing's had almost a 12-point range in the pre-market. So if you're trading this thing, expect some major volatility. Symbol SODA.
Wow, this stock is really popping, Dennis, all over the place. I'm looking at the pre and 40.05 was the low not too long ago. Keep a real close eye on that level, Dennis, because you just had a bunch of lows and that area. So I'd use that as major support. Also, of course, the pre-market low, confirming that with the 39.56 low. So 39.56.40 major support. Since we made that low, we got to bounce up into the 42.70 area. So I would use that as resistance. Above there, I'd be looking for 44.
That's all I've really got for you today. It's kind of a mixed market. We're only up $1.50 here, so it's going to be interesting to see whether we go up or down here. The market really hasn't decided what's happening today. It just seems pretty quiet. Anything you want to close with there, Joel?
Yeah, I mean, we're good to go north as long as we hold that 13.70 and a quarter low. That's our show for today, folks. We'll be back with you tomorrow.